guys! Welcome back! Andito na naman po tayo para mag-aral ng isang math lesson. For today's video, I'm going to show you how to factor polynomials under sum and difference of two cubes. Okay? So, dalawa po ito. Isang sum of two cubes at isang difference of two cubes. First, let us illustrate sum of two cubes or SOTC. Okay? SOTC can be illustrated as x cubed plus y cubed. Take note that the main operation in SOTC is addition. Kasi nga po, sum. So, plus yung operation na involved. And then, ano yung pinagpa-plus mo? Dapat daw 2, so 2 terms, cubes na perfect cubes. Okay? So, each term doon sa pinagpa-plus mo ay parehas perfect cube. Kapag ka coefficient or constant, para malaman mo kung perfect cube siya, iisip ka ng other number na kapag multiply mo ng 3 beses sa sarili, yung coefficient or yung constant mo yung magiging product. And kapag variable naman, dapat yung exponent niya ay divisible by 3 or nade-divide sa 3 or multiple ng 3. Now, after identifying that the polynomial can be factored by SOTC, ano po yung factored form niya? The factored form of SOTC has two factors. May dalawa daw po tayong factor. Una, binomial factor. Yung bawat term sa binomial factor natin ay yung sum ng roots ng ating polynomial. So, yung cube root ng first term mo ay yung first term ng binomial factor. Yung cube root ng second term mo ay second term ng binomial factor. Okay. Now, the other factor of your SOTC is a trinomial factor in which the first and the last term are the square of each root. So, yung nakuha mong cube root ng first term ng polynomial at last term ng polynomial, i-square mo lang sila at yun yung magiging first and last term ng trinomial mo. Now, paano yung middle term? Yung middle term daw ng trinomial natin ay yung product ng roots. So, yung cube root naman ng first and last term ng given nating polynomial, i-multiply mo lang, ayun na yung mapupuntang middle term ng ating trinomial factor. So, ang factors ng SOTC, yung una ay plus, and then yung trinomial factor, yung sign niya ay positive, negative, positive. Okay? Now, punta naman po tayo sa DOTC or difference of two cubes. So, it can be illustrated as x cubed minus y cubed. So, dito naman, ang main operation natin ay subtraction. Kasi pag difference, di ba, ang involved na operation ay minus. Ano yung pinagmaminus natin? 2. So, mayroon tayong dalawang terms. Cubes na perfect cubes. Okay? So, parang SOTC lang din. Dapat perfect cube yung first term, perfect cube yung last term. And then, yung factored form niya, ay parang parehas din ni SOTC. Okay, meron din siyang dalawang factors. Yung una ay binomial factor. Dito naman, difference. So, difference of two cubes, difference din yung unang binomial factor niya. Okay, yung kanina, SOTC, addition, addition yung binomial factor niya. Now, ang second factor din nito ay trinomial factor. Ganun din po. Yung first and last term ay square ng roots ng given natin. Okay, yung cube root nitong dalawa, pag in-square mo, yun yung first and last term ng ating trinomial factor. And yung middle term niya ay yung product ng cube roots ng given natin. Okay po? So now, let us have our first example. Find the factors of b raised to 9 minus 27. So how are we going to solve this? So step 1, inspect the given polynomial. Okay, ano po ba yung operation niya? Dito, sa problem natin ay subtraction. Now, ano yung sinusubtract natin? Check if each term is a perfect cube. Okay? So, dito, yung first term natin ay variable na may exponent na 9. So, dahil si 9 ay divisible by 3, we can say that d raised to 9 is a perfect cube. Now, our second term is 27. So, is there a number that when you multiply 3 times by itself, the product will be equal to 27? Yes, that is 3 because 3 times 3, 9 times 3 is 27. So, therefore, both of our terms are perfect cubes. So, we can factor this out using dot C. Okay, difference of two cubes. Now, step 2. Find the cube root of the first term. Our first term is d raised to 9. So, to find its cube root, let us just divide the exponent by 3. Okay, so the cube root of d raised to 9 is d cube. Kasi dinivide natin si 9 sa 3 and the answer is 3. Kaya po d cube. Step 3. Find the cube root of the last term. Our last term is 27 and sabi nga natin kanina, ang number na pag multiply mo ng tatlong beses ay 27 ay 3. So, ang cube root ng 27 ay 3. Now, since you are done finding the cube roots of each term of our binomial, we can now write its factored form. Okay? So, sabi natin kanina, dalawa yung factors nila. Isang binomial factor at isang trinomial factor. So, let us now write the binomial factor, which is the difference of the cube roots. So, ang cube root ng first term natin ay d cube. Ang cube root ng second term natin ay 3. So, ima-minus lang natin sila. Yun na yung first binomial factor natin. So, to find the other factor, the trinomial factor, first, let us square the cube root of the first term. Itong naging sagot natin sa step 2. I-square daw natin siya. So, mumultiply natin sa sarili. D cube times t cube. Anong gagawin natin dito? Ito plus yung exponent. Ba 3 plus 3, 6. So, yung first term ng trinomial factor natin ay si d cube. Next, get the product of the cube roots. Ipag-multiply daw natin yung cube root ng first term at cube root ng last term. So, d cube times 3 is equal to 3d cube. Yun yung magiging middle term natin. But take note, sabi natin kanina, kung ang binomial factor natin ay minus, so kabaliktaran niya yung sign ng middle term ng trinomial factor. So kung minus to, dapat ito ay plus. Next, yung last term ng ating trinomial factor. Square the cube root of the last term. Ito po, si 3. Times lang natin siya sa sarili niya, and that is 9. Yun na yung last term ng trinomial factor natin. That's it. The factors of d raised to 9 minus 27 are the quantity of d cubed minus 3 times the quantity of d raised to 6 plus 3d cubed plus 9. Now, you want to check kung tama ba yung naging factors mo? So, syempre, kung kanina, nag-factor tayo para ma-check, mag-multiply tayo. Okay? Let us multiply the binomial factor to the trinomial factor. To do that, yung first term ng binomial factor natin ay i-distribute natin sa bawat term sa trinomial factor. So, d cubed times d raised to 6 is d raised to 9. D cubed times 3d cubed is equal to 3d raised to 6. D cubed times 9 is 9d cubed. Now, ito namang second term ng ating binomial factor ang i-distribute natin sa trinomial factor. So, negative 3 times d raised to 6 is negative 3d raised to 6. Next, Negative 3 times 3d cubed is negative 9d cubed. And lastly, negative 3 times 9 is negative 27. Now, if you're going to look at the product, there are two sets of similar terms. Ano nga po ulit yung similar terms? Sila yung term na may parehas na variable na may parehas ding exponent. Tingnan nyo to, si 3d raised to 6. Meron din tayo ditong term na may d raised to 6. Dito naman ay term na may d cube. Ito rin ay term na may d cube. Itong second term natin ay similar dun sa fourth term. Tama po ba? Pero, magkaiba sila ng sign. So, how do we solve this? So, 3d raised to 6 minus 3d raised to 6 is 0. So, kakancelin na lang natin siya. And similar din yung third term natin dito sa fifth term. And para magkaiba rin sila ng sign. So, ima-minus din natin. So, since parehas lang yung coefficient, di ba, additive inverse sila. So, parang kakancelin na lang rin natin kasi 0 yon. So, therefore, ang matitira ay si d raised to 9 minus 27. So, dahil bumalik yung product natin dun sa given nating polynomial kanina, ibig sabihin, tama po yung factors na nakuha natin. Si quantity d cubed minus 3 times the quantity d raised to 6 plus 3d cubed plus 9. Nakuha po ba? So now, let us proceed to our second example. Find the factors of 8e cubed plus 64h raised to 6. Okay, so step 1, inspect the given polynomial. Lagi mo lang titingnan muna yung given mo para ma-identify mo kung anong factoring method ang gagamitin mo sa kanya. So since we have binomial given, so check muna natin ano yung main operation niya. So, its operation is addition. Okay? Now, let us inspect the terms that we are adding. 8e cubed and 64h raised to 6. Sila ba ay perfect cubes? Okay. So, since sila ay perfect cubes, ibig sabihin, mapa-factor natin to gamit ang SOTC. Kasi addition, so sum, and then 2 cubes, meaning sum of 2 cubes ang gagamitin natin. Okay? Step 2. Find the cube root of each term. Okay, so sabi natin, isip tayo ng number na pag multiply sa sarili, 8 ang sagot, and yung exponent ng variable natin, i-divide natin sa 3. So, the cube root of 8e cubed is 2e. Next, step 3. Find the cube root of the last term, which is 64h raised to 6. So, ano bang number? Yung kapag multiply mo ng 3 beses sa sarili, 64 ang lalabas. So, yes, that is 4. And then, yung exponent naman ni h na 6 ay i-divide natin sa 3, kaya naging squared yung cube root niya. Now, once you are done finding the cube roots of each term of your polynomial, you can now write its factored form. So, sabi natin, pag SOTC, may dalawang factor siya. Una, yung binomial factor. So, dahil sum of 2 cubes, addition yung operation natin, yung binomial factor niya ay addition din. So, ipa-plus lang po natin yung nakuha nating cube root, yung sagot sa step 2 at step 3. Okay? So, our binomial factor is 2e plus 4h squared. Let us now write the trinomial factor. Yun yung second factor natin. First is to square the cube root of the first term. So, ito po. Itatimes lang natin sa sarili niya. Ito din po yun. Okay? So, 2e times 2e is 4e squared. Ayun po yung unang term sa trinomial factor natin. Next, yung gitna. Get the product of the cube roots. The answer is step 2 and step 3. So, ito si 2e, i-multiply lang natin kay 4h squared. Or, ito din po yun. Si 2e, ito times lang natin kay 4e squared. So, ang magiging sagot ay 8eh squared. Take note, sabi natin kanina, magkabaliktad dapat yung operation ng binomial factor natin sa sign ng middle term ng ating trinomial factor. So, dahil plus to, dapat ito ay minus. Okay? Next, yung last term sa trinomial factor natin. Get the square of the cube root of the last term. Ito po, yung answer sa step 3. Okay? I-multiply mo lang sa sarili niya. Ito din po yun. I-multiply mo lang sa sarili niya. So, 4h squared times 4h squared is 16h to the fourth. So, that will be our third term. That's it. Ayan na po yung factors ng ating given na 8e cubed plus 64h raised to 6. Quantity of 2e plus 4h squared times the quantity of 4e squared minus 8eh squared plus 16h to the fourth. So, let us check kung tama ba yon. I-multiply natin sila. Okay? So, 2e times 4e squared is 8e cubed. 2e times negative 8eh squared is negative 16e squared h squared. 2e times 16h to the fourth is 32eh to the fourth. Now, ito namang si second term ng binomial ang i-distribute natin. 4h squared times 4e squared is 16e squared h squared. Now, 4h squared times negative 8eh squared is negative 32eh to the fourth. And 4h squared times 16h to the fourth is 64h raised to 6. Now, mayroon na naman tayong dalawang set ng similar terms. Ito ay parehas na may variable na e at h at 2 ang exponent ng bawat variable. Ito din ay ganun. Kaya lang magkaiba sila ng sign, so ima-minus natin. Di ba po? So parang ika-cancel na lang natin sila dahil 0 sila. And then ito ay similar din dito. And magkaiba sila ng sign. Diba po? Additive inverse sila. So, parang ika-cancel na lang natin yun dahil sila ay equal sa 0. So, ang natira na lang ay yung first and last term natin. Si 8e cubed plus 64h raised to 6. Dahil yung product ay bumalik dun sa given natin. So, meaning, itong factors natin ay tama. So, good job, guys. Sana naintindihan nyo. Now, let us recall the steps in factoring sum and difference of two cubes. First, inspect if the given polynomial is either SOTC or DOTC. Alamin mo muna kung yung given mo ba ay mapafactor mo ng SOTC or DOTC. And then, isolve mo daw yung cube root ng first term. Tapos, kuhanin mo rin yung cube root ng last term. After that, masusulat mo na yung factored form niya. So, first, yung binomial factor. Find the sum or ipag-plus mo yung cube root nila kung SOTC. At ipag-minus mo naman yung cube root nila kapag DOTC. After that, proceed ka na sa trinomial factor. So, yung first term ng trinomial factor mo ay yung square ng cube root ng first term. Yung naging sagot mo sa step 2. Then, yung middle term mo ay yung product ng cube roots o yung sagot sa step 2 at step 3. But take note, dapat yung sign na ito sa step 6 ay kabaliktaran ng operation ng binomial factor mo. And for the last step, square the cube root of the last term. Yung sagot mo sa step 3, i-square mo lang siya. After that, ayun na po yung factor ng given mong polynomial.
I hope may natutunan kayo sa short video natin na to. Until next time, thank you for watching!